East Coast Horror Group.
Are you saying that we masturbate with your people?
No, you masturbate with each other's fecal matter.
Well, that's untrue and disgusting.
And possibly accurate.
No.
Okay, salutations and mutilations. You're watching the East Coast Horror Group presenting Detention, the show after the show on East Coast Horror Group. We have the faculty of fear here, so let's go around the horn. We'll start with our good friend Autumn Dies. Hello, Autumn.
Hi.
Thanks for not breaking your equipment there.
I just dropped everything.
Yeah, well, everybody drops everything when it comes to East Coast Horror Group.
Drop it like it's...
Where's the little belt? Here. When it comes to East Coast Horror Group. There.
What is
Okay.
the bell for? Is that whenever you tell your mom that you need your bag changed?
Let's talk to Mike. Mike, the coach. How are you doing, Mike?
Fantastic. How are you, Tim?
Real good. Glad you could join us tonight. And, of course, there's Drew. Drew, how are you doing?
Hey guys, very nice for you to be able to see me, I guess.
Yeah, now this is your first time on Detention. This is only our second episode.
Well, actually,
but-
if you remember, there's an unreleased video of Detention.
Yeah, I remember it. But
And there's a special guest. Special guest appearance by none other than Mr. Jesus Christ. Crucified.
speaking of special guests, did everybody see my nice new my Jaws stuff here?
Do you want me to go get my special guest too?
No.
Go
No.
get him.
Okay, I'll put it away. I'll
Special
put it
guest.
away. Hey, it only took us 3 months to get this show together, but we finally got together on the same night. All of our internet going, so let's keep things rolling.
Let's do it.
Tonight, we saw the movie August Underground Mordum.
Yeah.
And Mike, this was your suggestion, so I'm going to let
Autumn
you
see it?
tee it up.
Well, there's not really a lot to tee up. It's pretty much the continuation of the first film, August Underground, where essentially it follows serial killers around, actually the city of Pittsburgh. Toe Tag Entertainment made this, Fred Vogel.
Okay.
Basically, the synopsis for this is two friends bring along a newcomer to go on a killing spree. So it continues to follow Peter Mountain, who's played by Fred Vogel, Krusty, who is played by Christy Wiles something, and the new guy, his name is Maggot, played by Michael Schneider, who also goes by Maggot sometimes. We have also Jeremy Cruz is back with the effects. Another person of note, I don't know if you are aware of Necrophagia, but Killjoy from that is the fourth killer that they catch up with in the barn, I guess it would be. Is that a
Okay.
barn?
All right.
You're
Maybe.
a barn.
So why did you suggest this movie?
Why did I suggest it? Because I knew you wouldn't watch it any other way.
That's true. That is accurate.
So, yeah. So I had to put a little bit of this into your life, Tim. Because I remember when we first met, you had said you saw a film that you really didn't care for because someone got their head bashed in with a fire extinguisher,
Yes.
and you thought that was gory. So from that point on, I knew that I had to get you to watch one of the August Undergrounds, and I think the most disturbing August Underground is Mordum. The first one is disturbing, but it's the visuals are a little rough because it was essentially done on a VHS camcorder. And Penance, they had a lot more money for Penance, but it's not one of my favorites. It's kind of slow.
Okay.
But Mordum just, it doesn't stop.
Don't
Okay.
stop, can't stop, won't stop.
So, Drew, what did you think of August Underground?
Well,
Mordum.
I mean, you can't really judge August Underground the same way you would judge a modern horror kind of flick that you get in the movie theaters, right? It's an indie movie, and every aspect of it is an indie movie. So you have to judge it by indie standards, I think. and then you have to look at it and you have to see its place in horror, really. And it does have its place in horror, I think. It's one of the most visceral films ever made. This was before Hostel. This was before a lot of the torture porny kind of movies came out. This was kind of revolutionary to the genre in that aspect, I think. It didn't get the release that Hostel did, or the recognition that Eli Roth does, but it certainly did it all before he did it. And as far as the acting goes, and as far as the special effects are top notch because Toe Tag and Jeremy, that's their specialty, man. They're from the Pittsburgh, they're in the Tom Savini school, so that's what they've done, and they know that front to back. And the acting, you might look at it as an indie movie and think that acting isn't that great, but then you actually meet Fred and Shelby and all the people that were in the movie, and you totally expect them to eat your face off, and they're completely normal people. So that should just the personal interaction with them shows that they actually did do a good job with the acting. And I think the job was to make you uncomfortable, right? And to gross you out. And I think if that was the goal of the filmmakers, that it certainly met its goal. It certainly did its job.
Yeah, I don't think August Underground, the entire trilogy, was set to be the next Citizen Kane. I don't think they wanted a lot of story. They didn't give you a lot of story other than what they put in front of the camera. So, like Drew said, I think they just went out to make the most realistic, gross film that they possibly could. And, I think the inspiration behind August Underground was Fred was saying that, all the serial killer films that are out, Hannibal Lecter and things like that, sort of glorify serial killers.
Right.
And he wanted to do the down and dirty of what they most likely really are. And that's what he was going for. So, not a lot of dialogue, not a lot of plot, but some intense scenes nonetheless.
Okay. Autumn, what did you think? Did you get a chance to watch it?
Yeah, I watched it.
Speak up there, Autumn. Come on.
Has it changed you?
I don't know. It was just, you're definitely right on no dialogue or storyline, and it was a lot to take in.
But Autumn, I thought you were the twisted, demented one. I thought this would be right up your alley.
Yeah, I like a lot more humor in the two damn movies instead of just the kill scenes. That shit took forever. Just fucking kill the bitch.
Just like it would in real life. It's not easy to kill somebody in real life. Not that I would know.
Yeah. What are you talking about, Drew?
Nice try, FBI. Not happening this time.
But you're so good at keeping it a secret, Drew. You didn't just look into a camera and say it, so you're perfectly safe.
I didn't kill anybody. Believe
Next time, believable.
Okay.
Well, let me and Michael, let you guys can interject anytime while I'm going through my list here. To me, it was a fake snuff film. Is what the movie is. It's a fake snuff film.
Accurate.
As far as the acting, I'm going to say I thought the acting was actually great. And I'll tell you why. Usually when I see acting that I don't like, it's because they're over the top and it's like, hey, I'm on TV, the game show host type of stuff. At no point in this do you feel it's anything other than a bunch of people screwing around in front of the camera. Unfortunately, the way that they decide to screw around in front of the camera is some disturbing shit. And frankly, to me, the movie felt like it was a bullet list. It was like, how many completely disgusting, horrible things can we do on camera? Including, we have a man cutting his own dick off. We have various scenes of inducing vomit.
What's he do with the dick afterwards?
We don't. There would be a spoiler alert, Drew. spoiler alert, you have people suffocating in plastic bags. You have a toddler in a trash can. I mean,
when did that happen? Did I miss that?
That was Killjoy's part. The toddler in the barn when they met up with the other killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like maggots on a child's corpse, and you know, by the way, I did think it was interesting that one of the people in the gang was an accountant and the other one was a librarian. That was interesting.
You know, Tim, if I can interject one thing about you said about the acting.
Right.
We've done enough independent filmmaker panels to kill a horse, but Jason Hoover at Jab Pictures always said, you know, it's the toughest thing is to find a cast that'll go to the edge with you. Mm-hmm. And I think Toe Tag, out of all the independent film companies, have been able to find people that are willing to go to the edge with them, because there were some not so attractive people that had no problem getting buck-ass naked, covered in shit and blood, and you know, being raped with a dismembered penis.
Yeah, that's why I kind of stayed. I think the acting
$0.
I could really see, and the movie starts without any credits or anything. I could see somebody turning this on and not realizing that it wasn't fake, because the special effects are incredibly convincing on screen. And I know that's all part of trying to make it seem as real as it possibly can. But it does pile up to become sickening. And about halfway through the movie, I stopped feeling anything. I just felt myself disconnect completely from the video. Anyway, I will say, if his goal was to show people how sickening serial killers really are, I think that goal's accomplished. If the goal is to tell any sort of story, and I'm saying any, even like rudimentary story, it really doesn't tell that. When I was looking at, it was either IMDb or Wikipedia, somebody wrote a very descriptive description of the plot, and I was sitting there, I was going, oh, that's what that was? A couple of times I didn't really realize what was going on in some of the sequences, just because it was chaotic, and it was going for realism rather than explaining what was going on. I didn't find this a pleasant experience. I know that was your goal, Mike, and you're an asshole. But I felt strangely disconnected from the film. I was supposed to be disturbed, and frankly, and I made a point of not having Facebook open or doing some of that stuff I do when I get bored with a movie. But I just sat there and I kind of went, okay, I'm taking this torture right now. But it really didn't move me that much.
I was really hoping you were going to say strangely aroused.
Yeah, right. That was
find a new sexual fetish with this film.
On the tip of my tongue. Yeah, absolutely.
My dick.
Well, I guess it's that point in the show where we get the grades, and we'll start with that who assigned the film. Mike, what is your grade for this film?
It's not a perfect film. I don't think many films are, but for what it was set out to do, and the entire trilogy, I guess I'm saying, for what it set out to do, I think it was a complete trendsetter before torture porn was even a thing. So my grade is an A.
Okay, and Drew, your grade.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give it an A as well. Like Mike said, just because of the trailblazing nature of the film, and for a film with such a low budget and no distribution other than Fred and Toe Tag, for it to gain the popularity that it did and to gain sort of underground traction, that it's on lists of fucked up movies with Eraserhead and with Irreversible and with huge, production movies with Salo. To be able to gain that kind of traction around the world from where it came from is unbelievable. And I think this says a lot for the film.
All right. And Autumn, what do you grade it?
I guess I'll go with a C.
Okay. Well, I have a feeling that that's actually more disturbing to the filmmakers than enough, because I think what they're looking for is an extreme reaction, either for or against, right? Because I was thinking about, to me, I didn't hate it. I thought, as I said, I thought the acting was good. The special effects were freaking superb.
How was the lighting?
The lighting actually was halfway decent.
What about the
I
editing?
know it's important.
The editing was not so hot.
Was it supposed to be hot? It was supposed to be like you picked it out of some guy's VHS camcorder, right?
Right, and it was appropriate, I guess, to what their goal was. So I'm gonna go with a D-, just because I know it would be more of what he's looking for. He wants somebody to hate it or love it. So I'm going that direction. He did what he set out to do. I'm not the audience for this film. Right after I watched this, yes, I watched Jaws yet again. Right after this as kind of a palate cleanser.
See you sitting there masturbating with barbed wire while you watch this film.
Yeah, that's an interesting image, and again, inaccurate.
Interesting is a good word, I guess. For it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the way I felt about the movie, and I do have to say, if anything of what I said sounds interesting to you, first of all, turn yourself into the closest authority figure. But no, if it does sound like something you're interested in, you're not going to see it done better than this movie. It really does what it does very, very well. It's just, this is not the sort of thing I ever want to see again in my life. Yep. All right. Well, that's it for Detention. We're right about at the right time. Want to thank you all for joining us, and we invite you all to join us again. We're going to say next month, but it might be years before our next one. But
maybe next weekend.
It could be. You never know. You
could be tomorrow
never know. Right? All right. Remember to check the children, and that horror movies don't create psychos. They make psychos more creative. What are you doing, Mike?
I'm caressing Autumn's chin.
That's his penis.
Stop it. Stop
What's
it.
she putting in that? What's she putting in front of the screen?
I'm going to make sure she's in a different position and you won't know.
What's a skull?
East Coast Horror Group.